Pop quiz. What's the first thing you do whenever you see a pane of glass in a first-person shooter? That's right, you shoot it. In almost every FPS game, glass panes are a common interactive element that allow you to get a nice look at your enemy through a wall before breaking said wall down with bullets and making a loud noise. You can find it in almost every FPS game, from Half-Life, Call of Duty, Counter-Strike, Team Fortress 2. That's odd. Usually you don't see a game implementing glass without allowing you to shoot it. But why would the developers do this? Are they lazy? It would be very useful if we had developer commentary around certain design decisions. Wait a second, we do have that. And there's one right here on the usage of bulletproof glass. How about we go see what it has to say?
Bulletproof glass is a useful design tool in strongly defended areas such as around control points. It gives the offensive team a chance to see enemy defenders and sentry gun positions, while affording the defensive team a good view of the gathering attack team. This is often crucial for the defense, if the offense is waiting for a medic's invulnerability charge.
Alright then, that was a bunch of words, and they all sounded relatively smart. But what do they actually mean? Well, essentially, the main reason bulletproof glass is implemented in maps rather than a typical one-time barrier is to provide some safe intel gathering. Knowledge is power, and getting it for free is always an amazing deal. For the offensive side, you can directly see what you're going up against and how not to die to it. One of the best examples of this is on Upward, where the final point has bulletproof glass all around this area overlooking the enemy spawn, which lets you look at all the sentries and snipers that you'll have to deal with while being at risk of getting shot by them. Or how at this spot on the final point on Badwater, there's a window overlooking the final point of Red, once again providing valuable information. Additionally, there's a little hole in the glass right here, which allows snipers to get some valuable picks from a more restricted sight line. However, the glass goes both ways, and this also applies to defenders getting additional information. You get to see the approaching storm that's brewing on the offensive and use the knowledge you have acquired to prepare for the incoming attack. Consider this window on the first play of Borneo, which turns an already secure position with a medium health kit and a large ammo pack into an even stronger position thanks to the glass allowing you to safely view the enemy team, completely taking away any element of surprise they may have. Just watch out for spies. Or how about the example that TF2 developers have already graciously provided for us on Gravel Pit? The defenders are given a big sightline on this opening of the point. However, this wall of the window makes it so that defenders are not only reinforced from this side, but they still have the advantage of being able to see the entire enemy team. Bottom line is, bulletproof glass is very valuable when it comes to offense or defense, but also applicable to more neutral points of the map too. Look at this shack on Badwater, which is an important power position not just because of the health and ammo, but also because there's glass on both sides, making this place both a great defensive and offensive position that often needs Uber to get through. For a more modern example of map design implementing glass, look at Altitude. This pane of glass on the last point provides both a vantage point for the attacking team and a window into whatever either team is cooking up. One final thing bulletproof glass can do is also make a certain point more vulnerable, as sometimes a simple barrier would have been better for protection. I would like to present to you this large health pack on Borneo. As well as position is inherently valuable with instant health restore and 2 alright escape routes, there's a window on this side that only people outside benefit from, meaning that they can spot a potentially wounded enemy and finish them off. I get to go on with every single example of bulletproof glass being surprisingly ever present, but you get the idea. However, glass doesn't just affect the gameplay in terms of intel gathering. Glass and other forms of see-through barriers in TF2 are also good for creating social interactions. Let's say you see an enemy. Usually your first instinct is to try to kill them. However, there's a catch this time. They're behind a pane of glass. You can't shoot them, and they can't shoot you. If you go in, they'll have the advantage because they know you're coming. If you leave, they'll also have the advantage because it's given an opportunity to pass through a point that's likely of importance, as that's where glass often is, near control points, spawn rooms, or whatever else. This also applies for your opponent. I mean, the best option for both of you is to sit there and wait. So, what do? Well, use a voice line. It would at least be a bit funny. And hey, the opponent also responds in kind. Suddenly, this tense situation has de-escalated and now both of you walk away like nothing has happened. This is not an uncommon interaction in TF2. It really speaks to how well its systems are made to facilitate an environment that isn't strictly competitive, but also social. If you can't shoot someone, might as well talk to them. Bulletproof glass and other forms of see-through barriers are amazing for sometimes giving a nice break from the typical combat and allowing the players to simply relax for a bit. Not to say this doesn't always happen, but it's just nice to see a bunch of people who should be enemies just chilling for a bit. In summary, TF2's Bulletproof glass not only serves a purpose in gameplay by allowing further intel to be gathered while still being protected, but also allows for more social interaction with TF2. You know, a game that's already pretty good at providing social interaction. So, I think it's clear by now that Bulletproof glass is a pretty underrated part of TF2's map design. So why is it implemented in that many games? It's a simple answer. The notion that newer is always better. In the AAA scene of video games, new stuff is always being pushed. The most obvious example of this is live services, but it applies to everything else too. Better graphics are always pushed, even if it may clash with the art style in case of a remake or if it messes with the visual clarity of a game. New gameplay features that are considered modern are put into games that are considered outdated, with the best example of this being the newer Halo games. It also just applies to general technology, as you only want to wow the player with some basic physics interactions. It's how we get a lot of games only really implementing glass just for it to be easily breakable, or, not implementing it at all. The thing is, breakable glass only really serves a purpose in tactical shooters, as in those games, sound is incredibly important, so breaking some glass to get better traversal is a massive gamble in certain situations. In more deathmatch focused games like TF2, however, it wouldn't be that good of a fit. If there's a window area that should be open to traversal, just make it open in general. No need for a temporary barrier. It's not that Valve's lazy and didn't have the technology, they made Half-Life 2 after all. In other words, TF2 personally decides to utilize supposedly outdated technology to enhance the gameplay experience. Then again, that's kind of a theme of TF2 in general. Seemingly outdated, but in reality, holds up much better than its modern competition. Thank you guys for all coming here. I'll see you in the next vid. Bye.